welcome back to ciLiving. Mari-Mann Herb wants to not only help you with your health, but also offers gourmet food options. With almost 50 years of business under their belt, they offer a wide variety of vitamins and supplements, cooking and garden parties. Here with all of the details is Liz King. Welcome to ciLiving.
Thank you very much.
All right, so tell me about Mari-Mann Herb.
So my mother-in-law, Mary Beth, started it in her home kitchen in 1976.
Wow.
Making treats for her friends, making our famous dip mixes, packing up some of the goodies that we use in our ingredients, making the homemade lemon thyme jelly, and it grew into an actual retail store with a tea room.
Oh, wow.
So we continue that tradition of being health-oriented with vitamins and supplements, but what I call our gourmet side, to really pay tribute to Mary Beth and her recipes and continue the tea parties and cooking classes and garden parties that she started almost 50 years ago.
I love that, and this is gorgeous. I feel like with just a few beautiful items, you've really transformed this space into a tea party. So can you tell me a little bit about the tea parties that you have at your location?
So in June and December, we do public tea parties. In June, we do our fairy garden tea party.
Okay.
Because we have a life-size fairy garden, and so we do a tour of the garden, look for the fairies and the elves, and then we have a whole spread. So we do some traditional and not so traditional items for our teas. So the fairy garden tea in June is a little bit different from the Christmas high tea that we do in December, because obviously in December you can't really tour the garden if there's snow on the ground and if it's too cold.
That makes sense.
So we talk about Santa Claus being a jolly old elf and some of the lore of Christmases past. But the fairy garden really is where we shine in the summer months, and we do have private events as well. You can book us for a private tea party or a luncheon inside or outside, or cooking classes inside or outside. We have some outdoor barbecues coming up in the garden later this summer. But we really like to focus on Mary Beth's recipes. So for example, our cucumber sandwiches, you cannot have a tea party without some sort of cucumber sandwich.
Okay.
So we cut out little rounds of bread. We use our dilly dip to make a spread, and then the top, it's as simple as just cutting out a piece of cucumber.
Oh, look at that.
We always season it a little bit just to make it a little more elegant.
Fancy.
And then we put what we call our entree Marie on top.
Okay.
And then it gets placed on a lovely little serving tray. So then when the ladies and even gentlemen, anyone is welcome, you come and pick it up off the tray.
Pick it up off the tray.
Pick it off the tray, put it on your fancy little...
I want to help you make some of these.
Thank you.
This is so cute. Okay, so
it's so fun.
Put this on, and then how much seasoning should I put on here?
Really to taste, just enough that you can see it. It's almost like maybe like a celery salt kind of flavor.
That
so
is a lot.
That one, yes. If you love salt, but you know what? It's fine. There are people who love extra seasoning. Again, if you're going to do something like this in your own home, you can absolutely season to taste.
However you want it.
Absolutely.
And I actually do really like celery salt. I sometimes will even put celery salt on popcorn.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it just gives it it still gives it the saltiness, but with like a little bit of extra.
Elevates the flavor.
Elevates the flavor.
Yes.
And then what about the teas that we have?
So we have our famous berry tea. That is a blend that Mary Beth created from the very beginning, and it is actually a blend of cherry, blackberry, and raspberry teas with the natural fruits, natural botanicals, and all of our teas are very naturally flavored. We brew the tea, serve it in pretty teacups, and then this is our lavender lemonade. So we sell the food-grade lavender flowers. If you cook with lavender, either baking or making lemonade, something like that, always use the food grade or something that you've grown from your own garden. We make an infusion, blend that with lemonade, and it makes a lovely, very gently, florally flavored lemonade. And it's very refreshing in the summer when you're walking through the garden.
Nice. And we have about a minute left.
Yes.
Do we want to make a quick...
we can.
You can show me how to make a sandwich. I see the first thing is
cut
cut off the crust, right?
Cut off the crust. Oh, no crusts on tea parties.
Oh, okay. So we've learned 2 rules so far. We've learned you have to have cucumbers and no crust.
Absolutely.
Any other tea party rules we should know about?
Not really. You can wear whatever you want.
Okay.
If you want to dress up for a tea party, you can wear your fancy dress and your fancy hat.
Yes, I always think fancy hat when I think tea party.
Fancy hats, absolutely. And this is very simple. It's just a trick. You take any sort of bread that you like, take off the crusts, roll it out flat, and then it becomes sort of almost like a tortilla roll-up, and then you just roll it up and slice it.
I never would have thought to roll bread. I would always think to roll a tortilla roll.
Exactly.
But that gives it that cute little spiral.
Exactly. You have the spiral, and then you can serve it up or down, and then it's just a nice little bite. Everything in 1 or 2 bite-sized portions. And when we have our big high teas, there are 24 different items in silver and china and crystal everywhere.
This
Just
is
over the top.
Gorgeous and so much fun. Thank you so much for sharing that and for giving us those couple of tidbits in case we want to do this at home over the summer or something like that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.